Hi guys, welcome back to Lost by Library. My name is Kate. Today I am doing an ARC review for When Things Get Dark, and this is by multiple people. These are all stories inspired by Shirley Jackson, who wrote The Haunting of Hill House and other stories. I haven't read Shirley Jackson. I plan on reading The Haunting of Hill House at some point, but I have not read it at this time. I personally really enjoyed this collection of short stories, and even as someone who hasn't read Shirley Jackson, I have a feeling of what Shirley Jackson's writing is like, and we have a bunch of writers that people would recognize doing short stories for the who contributed to the short story collection. A lot of them I actually didn't know, and that was nice to get a lot of authors an idea of their works. And if I like their short story, I'm want to go see their other works and see what else. So I'm going to tell you what books, which short stories I really enjoyed. Let me pull up my review. I ended up giving this 4 stars just because of how I felt about the book, how much I enjoyed the book. So I thank the publisher, obviously, for giving me a copy of this ARC. I highly recommend, especially if you are a fan of Shirley Jackson, you should definitely check this one out. So some of my favorites are Funeral Birds by M. Rickett, For Sale by the Owner by Elizabeth Hand, Quiet Dead Things by Cassandra Caw, Hag by Benjamin Percy, A Trip to Paris by Richard Kadrey, and Skinder's Veil by Kelly Link. All these stories kind of had an ending that didn't feel super satisfying. And I have a feeling that's what Shirley Jackson's novels are like. So getting them as short, some of them worked very well and others didn't work as well. Some of my favorites, going through my favorites. For Sale by the Owner is about this lady who likes to go into cabins, random empty cabins, and just look at empty cabins. And while on a walk with 2 of her friends, they come across this big empty house, and spooky things happen. It's a short story, so not a whole lot of, but you should read it. I highly recommend. Hag is about a lady who goes back to a town after so long that something happened to her in her early years, and she's going back now. A Trip to Paris is about a lady who her family has all died, and she has a guy coming in to do repairs on her kitchen. And Skinder's Veil, which I think might be my favorite. I really enjoy the last 3. I mentioned Hag, A Trip to Paris, and Skinder's Veil is about a guy who takes over house sitting duties for his friend, and there's some odd rules for what's going on in the house, for what he has to do in the house for house sitting. I really enjoyed every single one. I enjoyed all the ones I listed. A couple of them I'm struggling to remember what exactly the stories were about, but those 4, For Sale by Owner, Hag, A Trip to Paris, and Skinder's Veil, were all really well done. And some of the other authors that we have here, let me pull up the book itself to tell you the authors that contributed to the book. I also really like the cover for the book. I think it's really, really pretty. So, actually, got the authors. Okay. So we have Laird Barron, Gemma Files, Jeffrey Ford, Stephen Graham Jones, who I've heard of, Elizabeth Hand, Karen Keeler, Richard Kadri, Cassandra Call, John Langan, Kelly Link, Carmen Maria Machado, Josh Mellerman, I've heard of. Shauna McGuire has a short story in here. I forgot about hers. Joyce Carol Oates, Benjamin Percy, Paul Tremblay has a story in here. Genevieve Valentine, and that's it. So, if you're looking for a good time, if you really enjoy Shirley Jackson's writing, highly recommend reading this book. I have seen reviews that would disagree with that, but all in all, this book also has pretty good reviews. So, if this is your thing, and if you really like horror short stories, go get it. It's such a good book. Again, I want to thank the publisher, who is, I'm looking to make sure I don't get this wrong. Just make sure I don't get things wrong. I had such a hard time finding the publisher on NetGalley. Who the publisher is on NetGalley, so I'm going to look on Goodreads. I have to look on Goodreads if I want to find the actual publisher for ARCs. I don't know. Can someone help me? Where I'm supposed to, like, when I'm looking at a book, at least the name of the publisher is on the book page. When things get dark. And Ellen Datlow is the one that edited all of this. She doesn't have a story in there, but she's the one that did all of the. Oh, Titan Books. Thank you to Titan Books for giving me an art of this. Highly recommend giving this 4 stars, and go read it. Go do it. You'll enjoy it, especially if you like Shirley Jackson. Alright, so that has been my ARC review of When Things Get Dark, stories inspired by Shirley Jackson. I hope you enjoyed. My next review is going to be on Pandemic. I mentioned it in my last video. So Pandemic is next. And then I'm currently reading The Liar of Red Valley. I read the first chapter. I think it's going to be interesting. So lots of reviews coming out to you. I hope you really enjoyed this ARC review. Go be a good cabbage today, and I'll see you in my next video. Love ya.